What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Fossil Fighters Champions. Last time, we completed the Coliseum Super Cup, and this time, we are going to be going over the lost bonus data of Fossil Fighters Champions. Or, as I put it last episode, the not-so-lost bonus data. Because there is still a way, even 12 years after the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection has cut out, to get the bonus data into your game of Fossil Fighters Champions. But, as many of you actually know, I use emulation to record these videos, because I have no real way of cleanly recording my DS, my DSi, or my 3DS. But that makes showing Wi-Fi stuff really difficult, because these emulators don't have internal Wi-Fi or anything, so I have no way of actually showing it through the emulator. So, instead, I think the best option is actually going to be for us to zoom out a little bit. Oh my god, he has hands! Or hand in this circumstance, I guess, because I'm recording this on my phone and have to hold it to actually record this. But I am actually doing this on my DSi and not my DS, because we have to hook up to the internet settings, and that's actually easier to do on a DSi and 3DS rather than the original DS or the DS Lite. So what we need to do is first go into the settings, and then we need to go over and go to the internet settings, and then go to connection settings. And I like to use advanced setup because the original setups don't completely work for some reason, but I'm just going to go to setup 4 or connection 4 and then change settings to show the settings. So on this first screen, you want to put in your Wi-Fi that you are using. Mine is obviously blacked out, so you can't see it, but this is the box where it goes. And then this is where your internet password goes in. And then you want to skip the auto-obtain IP address and then go to auto-obtain DSN and select no. And then you want to go to detailed setup and put in these numbers into your DNS setup. And these numbers I actually got directly off of the Fossil Fighters community wiki, or fan-made wiki. And these are actually fan-made servers that allow you to still get the bonus data even 12 years after the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection has shut off. So if I don't know exactly who is running these, like I said, I only found them on the fan wiki, and they lead all over the place. But if anyone knows who actually runs these servers, I would love to give credit for who's actually running these. But once you have this all done, you just select OK and you hit save. And then we need to go all the way back and head into the game. And also, the reason this is easier to do on the DSi or the 3DS is because when you are doing it on a original DS or a DS Lite, it requires you to put in a WEP for your internet security, and WEP is actually a obsolete security setting for Wi-Fi that isn't used anymore. So most Wi-Fis that you would not have a WEP, making it literally impossible to get onto. But there is actually a workaround. If you go onto your phone and go to your mobile hotspot, you could turn that on and turn off security and just have an open Wi-Fi there, and then you would no longer have to put the weapon for your DS. The only downside to that is actually that it only works on Android and not iPhone, which I unfortunately cannot show because I only have an iPhone to use here. But now that we are on the main screen here, we could just go in, and as you can see, I have a whole 46 minutes on this account just to show this. And you just want to go into multiplayer and do Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. And you can actually do this as soon as you get access to the fossil cannon, which opens up directly after round 1 after you fight Todd and right before you do the jungle labyrinth. So we are just going to wait here for the connection to Wi-Fi, Nintendo Wi-Fi, to be done. And once you get to this screen, all you have to do is press it, and it says, please wait. And once you get past that, you can see you can battle with anyone, battle with friends, Team Plaza, which is actually how you do the team fossil cleanings. But what we want for today is actually this bonus data, because once you click that, it's going to check all of these servers for bonus data, and it will actually tell you that you can find them. So we have the fossil rock containing the message lake, and then it'll just go through all of them. So this is the fossil rock containing the message sand. This one contains sea. Then we get the fossil rock containing the message bone. The fossil rock containing the message dragon. And then we get the Igniosaurus dino metal, as well as the Frigisaurus dino metal. And I believe that is everything for the bonus data. So now that I have shown that, we are just going to head back to the emulator so we can actually see what everything is. Right, and now, like the bonus data said, we are at the fossil cannons to get our fossil rocks. So mine are going to look a little silly because I kind of had to force them to show up here. But yours will be scattered around the whole yard and not just in this line. But I think what we are going to do is go over them in order of relevance. So the first two I actually want to look at are these bottom two. This first one being the Frigisaurus, and this one being the Igniosaurus. And that is because these two are actually usable as soon as you get them, since they just give you the dino metals, which means you can use these two as soon as you get access to the fossil cannon after round 1 of the Calisteo Cup. It's insane that they give you these so early. But Ignio is basically just a T-Rex Lord that you can use way before the T-Rex. It has the maximum attack of 99. It has a 100% gold scare skill. It has Roaring Fire, which is basically Super Inflame. And it has solo power, which means when it is the last Vivosaur on your side of the battlefield, its attack stat doubles. And to tell you how insane that is, if you have both solo power and Super Flame or Roaring Fire equipped to your Igno, that takes it from a 99 attack stat to a 288 attack stat, which is more than literally anything else you can find for a very long time in the game. But Igno does come with two big downsides. The first is that it has horrible support effects, but that doesn't super matter because it's a close range attacker. You don't want it in the support zone anyway. But the other one is actually more of a problem, and that is that it doesn't have any other fossil rocks you can find, meaning it's basically a curious fossil rock that you get for free, and it takes it forever to rank up because of it. You get it at rank 1, getting it to rank 20 from the start of the game takes it basically the entire game, probably more, actually. By the end of the game, it'll probably be ranked 12 if you're lucky. It's just super hard to rank up and super hard to use because of it being so far behind all your other Vivosaurs. But next up from Igno is Frigi. And Frigi is easily the most potent long-range attacker in the game. It has a very respectable 88 attack stat, and it can attack both the attack zone and support zone of your opponent with its third skill. It also gets the Harden skill whenever it reaches rank 7, making it decent at support. And it also has solo power, meaning that when it is the last Vivosaur left, its 88 attack goes to a monstrous 186. And mixing that with the fact that you almost certainly will have the FP to use its third skill makes it a real monster. The Frigi actually has 3 big downsides, however. 2 of them are the exact same as Igno. It has bad support effects, which is actually bad for Frigi being a long-range Venusaur. And it has no extra fossil rocks, meaning it takes just as long for it to rank up as Igno does. But Frigi actually has another big downside that makes it even harder to use. And that is that it requires you to have fighter level 11 to be able to have the max FP of 550 to even use Frigi's last skill. Which means until you are fighter rank 11, which doesn't happen until you are almost finished with the main story, mind you, unless you do a whole bunch of side quests, you cannot use Frigi's best skill. It's just off the table, even if it has it unlocked, which really brings it down, in my opinion. Alright, now that we are done going over Frigi and Igno, the next of the bonus data I actually want to go over are these top 3 fossil rocks. And that is because all 3 of them basically do the exact same thing once you collect them. So this first one is the Lake message card, and it says a dig site opened at Treasure Lake. Check the fossil cannon. And then this next one is the Sand message card. And it says basically the exact same thing, except for Dusty Dunes this time. And then this last one here is the Sea message card. And again, it's almost the exact same thing, except for Seabed Cavern this time. And the reason I wanted to lump all 3 of these together is because all 3 of them require the fossil cannon, which means they open at the exact same time as one another. Basically, you're not able to go to these dig sites until right before you go fight Zanga, and that's because they require the fossil cannon to be able to shoot people out of it, and that doesn't happen until right before the end of the game. But these 3 dig sites are actually very interesting because they are some of the best dig sites in the game because they let you find really rare fossils for each of the 3 islands. Basically, the Treasure Lake dig site allows you to find rare Vivisaurs like Shanshan and Goyo, which are very difficult to find because they are found in places that only have like 2 fossil rocks each time you visit them. And then the Dusty Dunes one allows you to find fossil rocks like Andoranch and Simo, which are, again, very hard Vivisaurs to find if you're just looking for them regularly. And then Seabed Cavern is actually the most interesting one because it allows you to go back to the Seabed Cavern, which you haven't been able to do since we have fought the BB Brigade there. So this bonus data allows you to go back to a dig site that was not previously available since we have been there. And it lets you go and actually see more of the dig site because you only were able to find fossil rocks in the hallway before. But now that you can go back, you can actually get fossils all around, and it's actually really nice. But the other thing I want to go over for these dig sites is actually that from everything I could find in my research, none of them were ever officially released. But as you saw when I pulled up my DS and everything, you can get them from the fan servers, which is very nice because they make getting all of the Vivisaurs much easier than it would be otherwise. But now that all of the dig sites are gone over, the next bonus data fossil rock I want to go over is actually this bottom one. And we have the Dragon message card. It reads, a special guest has come to visit. Look in the Petrified Woods. Alright, well, that gives us a destination, so let's go ahead and head over to the Petrified Woods. And at the Petrified Woods, we actually just want to take the odd well so we can get back to the tree because this character is actually on top of the tree, kind of like in the credits of the game where Todd and Rupert were kind of just standing at the top of this tree. And can we please climb the vines? Like, my God. But look who it is. Hello. I can't believe my holographic transformation technology chose to break down now. How am I supposed to disguise myself as a human without it? If I return to the mothership with nothing to show for my efforts. Oh, I startled you. Forgive me. My name is Duna, and I am an alien life form known as a Dinorian. I'm trying to engage in fossil battles for research, but you mammals all flee when I approach. Yet here we stand, you and I, engaging in conversation. It seems you do not share in this fear. Perhaps then you will be willing to help with my research. I need you to battle me while I am in my dinosaur form. Will you do this for me? Sure. Ah, wonderful. It seems not all mammals spend their lives cringing in terror. Here we go. Engage battle mode. All right, getting into this battle with Juna. I actually really like that they brought the Dinorians back because that's the whole point of the first game. So, spoiler alert for the ending of the first game. But that game ends with the Dinorians, who I'm going to tentatively call the main antagonist of the first game, integrated into human civilization. So having them appear in this story actually makes a lot of sense because they want to learn more about humans, and it makes sense that they would go to one of the most densely packed place of humans, being a place where a tournament is being held, to see how humans are interacting and see how humans behave. The only thing I don't like is that it was hidden behind DLC. Like, it would have made so much sense if, like, Duna, for example, was in the tournament for the Colosseo Islands just to get more data about their battle transformations or to understand more about humans and how they act around each other. It would have been so cool if they were part of the actual story, but unfortunately, they are not. And I think what I want to do is I don't think I can actually status these guys, but I am going to Raptor combo just to hurt them a little bit. But yeah, that's basically just my rant on how I think the Dinorians should have been implemented. But I still think it's cool they're here regardless of how they're here. It's just cool that they get a spot in this game and are able to be seen in this game at all. But Duna, unfortunately, is kind of a pushover. She just kind of fell over after 2 hits, which I guess makes sense. I did use an air-type super revolver against her, which she had no way of actually knowing about since there weren't any in the first game. But I think we are just going to hit these guys as hard as we can here. So I want to inflame Zephyr. And these Dino Matins are really just punching bags at this point. They have a lot of LP and a lot of power behind their hits, but they don't really have any way of doing a lot of damage in other ways or really annoying you in other ways because they don't have any ability to do like status effects or anything. They're basically just purely attacking Vivosaurs, or I guess robots, because Dino Matins aren't really Vivosaurs in a sense. They're more like robotic Xynos with better accuracy, if I'm putting it in the best way possible. But 64, 63, 94, that's actually a lot. I would rather not take that much damage, Dino Matin. But I think we should be able to take it out this turn. We are just going to Toughness scale. And how much does this do? That's 362. And with Link, that takes it out. That just takes it out. That's perfect, actually. Honestly, a pretty easy fight, even though they are all ranked 20. You are much stronger than I anticipated. Please, I must know your name. So, Phoenix, is it? May I ask one more favor of you, Phoenix? You see, your battle prowess was so strong it caused errors in my data. I need you to find my friend Rapton and battle with him so that I may compile both sets of data. Please go to Hot Spring Heights, find Rapton and battle him. Alright, and that gives us our next objective. Off to Hot Spring Heights we go. Alright, in Hot Spring Heights, your first thought would probably be to check the hot springs because that's where everything in Hot Spring Heights happens. But the Dinorians are more of a reclusive species, so I think checking this cave is more of his speed. So we're just gonna climb right up here, and there he is, Rapton! These cowards all run in the instant they see me. It's not as if I'm going to eat them. They look far too greasy. Greetings, you must be Felix. Juna informed me about you. She said you're able to defeat her in a fossil battle. You have come to battle me, yes? Yes, I have. Very well, I shall not keep you in suspense any longer. Battle mode, engage! Alright, getting into our battle with Rapton. We are, again, outsped because you still can't outspeed anyone, I guess. And this fight is almost the exact same as Juna's fight, with one or two big exceptions. The biggest ones are that Rapton's support effects are actually the opposite of Duna's. While Duna raised the defensive stats of defense and speed, Rapton actually raises the offensive stats of attack and accuracy. So he's much more of an attacking focused guy. So I want to actually punch the Dino Matt first instead of trying to fight him. Because, believe it or not, Obsidian's not very good at punching backwards. But I think we are just going to rotate forward, and I think Rock is actually going to attack Rapton. Just because Rock has the right type specialty against Rapton, being an Earth type against an Air type. And I do want to get a little bit of damage against him, in case I really need to take him out in a pinch. But, what are you gonna do, Rapton? Oh, nothing? Really? I was kind of scared that he was going to do something big. I think what I'm going to do now is actually punch Rapton just to try to get his support effects off the field. And that's not enough to take him out, but we do get Link, which still is not enough. But I think if we just use Raptor Kick, he has 11 LP. If Raptor Kick can't do 11 LP, I think I just gotta quit. 138. Perfect. And that takes out the good support effects, and now we're just left with the two Dinomatons that honestly aren't going to be able to do much, even with my lowered defense because of Harpy. Obsidian should be able to take two full-powered attacks from these guys. Also, all of the Dinomatons plus the Dinorians, because Dinomatons are technically Dinorians, when they're all put together, they do have team attacks because they are part of one of the groups that can use them together. So, we're getting subjected to a bunch of death rays, apparently. But honestly, none of them really did that much. I would think that something called a death ray would do more than 48 damage, especially when it's right in front of a Vivisaur with lowered defense. Like, come on, Dinomatin, you had one job. But I think now we are just going to Lordly Buster, and can we take out this Dinomatin in one hit? How much damage does this actually do? 202, 259, that's most of its life points, and that's all of it. All we have left is one Dinomatin to go, and because it's close range, it's probably going to sit right in front of Obsidian. which is going to make this super easy to actually do. And we get another Heartless Fury, which is their third skill. But even so, oh, it got a crit. But even so, it shouldn't do that much damage. Maybe half? A little bit more than half? But, yeah, this Dinomatin is not going to lift this punch. And even if it does, we still have Rock that can attack it. But Dinomatin is down, and that is the fight with Rapton complete. And for beating Rapton, we get 60 points. Haha! I like you, Phoenix. I am not used to losing to one so squishy. Still, if you wish to truly prove your mettle, you should challenge our leader, King Dino. You'll find him at the Stone Pyramid, and if you're lucky, he won't eat you when you lose. Haha! Alright, Rapton. Well, we're gonna go take on King Dino then over at the Stone Pyramid, which is actually kind of weird that he's at the Stone Pyramid because we had Duna at the Petrified Wood, the Petrified Wood in Ribular Island. Then we had Rapton in Hot Spring Heights on Ilium Island. And then nothing for Cranial Isle. It's kind of weird that they didn't put Dino in, like, Dusty Dunes, for example. But off to the Stone Pyramid we go. And at the Stone Pyramid, he picks a very good place to stand, if I'm being honest. Just his pure presence in front of the open coffin. It almost looks like he got out of the coffin, which is kind of creepy. But what do you have to say, King Dino? I am Dino, king of all Dinorians. How dare you keep me waiting? I shall let it pass this time, but only because I hear you defeated Duna and Rapton in battle. They are my two finest warriors, which means you are a foe to be reckoned with. Come then, let us battle and see who emerges victorious. Alright. I have not felt so ready for war since, well, it has been a long time. Battle mode engage. Alright, getting into this battle with Dino. We actually almost won that speed matchup. But this battle is easily the hardest battle against the Dinorians in this entire side quest. And it's all thanks to King Dino himself, actually. Because look at those support effects. Minus 77% to all of your attack zone Vivisaur stats. It's crazy. And it actually makes Dino a potent threat. So I think what I'm going to do is Dirt Spray Dino immediately, just to try to make him a little less of a threat overall. And we actually did get the super enrage off, which is very nice. But the whole crux of this battle is taking out King Dino before your big powerful attack zone Vivisaur gets taken out. Or, on the other hand, you can bring a rotator, like Harpy, to rotate Dino to the front, which actually makes him a lot easier to take out. Or, on the other hand, you can also bring a really good long-range Vivisaur, and that allows you to just do a lot of damage without having to worry about the bad support effect that Dino has at all. So, bringing something like Frigi, for example, makes this battle a lot easier because you kind of just wreck Dino as long as your Frigi is actually ranked up to rank 20, because Frigi can really just destroy everything in this fight, including Dino himself. But we are on Dino's third turn, and I'm assuming he's finally going to attack now. Imperial Wrath, his cold poison skill, which is actually kind of, I was going to say terrifying, but he just whiffed thanks to the super enrage, which is the whole reason I put it on him. The enrage is basically like a safety net. I'm just ensuring that my Venusaurs aren't getting hit by very powerful skills from Dino, honestly. But I think we are just going to Heracles Blade Dino. And how much does this do? Oh, that just takes Dino out right there. That's actually perfect. That takes away all of his strength, and that basically just leaves us in the exact same place as the last two battles have left us, with us just fighting two Dino Mattins. So we have Heartless Fury once again. I have a feeling that both of them are just going to Heartless Fury. Either that or the other one is going to Death Ray. But either way, I don't really think it's going to matter too much. Yeah, here's another Heartless Fury against Harpy of all Venusaurs. I guess they really want to take out my really good support effects. But again, I don't think it's going to matter. We are just going to Inflame Obsidian. And then we are just going to Lordly Buster, and that should take out a Dino Matin, and then next turn we should be able to finish this fight pretty easily, honestly. I did not have as much trouble with this fight as I thought I was going to. I thought they were going to immediately hit me with a bunch of poison skills and take out a bunch of my health all at once, and it was going to be like a real disaster all at once, but none of that really happened, and I think my strategy of enraging Dino was actually pretty sound. The other thing you could do is rotate him to the front and excite him, making it very easy for your attack zone Venusaur to just take Dino out, because the Dino Matins don't have any support effects to actually support an attack zone Venusaur. It just makes it a lot easier to take him out if you do it that way, and don't have to rely on him rotating himself. But with this should be the end of the Dino Matin, even if it lives here. Activating Link, and that's a Dino Matin down. And for beating Dino, we get 70 points. You remind me of a boy I once met. Young he was, and yet he managed to save the planet from annihilation at the hand of Gugnash. I believe his name was also Phoenix. Small world. But that is the story of another time. You, Phoenix, have allowed us to gain valuable battle data. Now take these and go. King Dino commands it. And he gives us a Dinorian Roboguard, aka the Dino Matin. Duna, wrapped in, as well as himself, King Dino. Those are Dino medals of our own design. I trust you will put them to good use. Farewell, Phoenix. You were a worthy foe. But now that we have all four of the Dinorians, I think we should talk about them. Starting with the Dino Matin. And the Dino Matin is just a battle bot made by the Dinorians. And I mean that in the most straightforward way possible. It has an 85 attack stat, which is very good. It is also just a pure high damaging Venusaur, mostly due to the fact that it only has damaging skills. It also is immune to every single stat except for Confuse, which makes it very good at just being an attacker that's hard to deal with, because you can only really deal with it by either confusing it or hitting it hard. And with the right support effects, it makes hitting it hard very difficult. But moving on from the Dino Matin, next up is Duna. And Duna is a terrifying support Venusaur. Duna has two different Confuse skills, including a 100% gold Confuse skill, meaning she can really irritate your opponent. Duna also has Enchanting Aura, giving her a pretty good counter skill. And she has amazing support effects, boosting your attack zone Venusaur's defense and speed by 77%. Basically, Duna is the ultimate shield of a team, because she will confuse your opponent, making them not attack most of the time or attack themselves. She will put counter skills on your Venusaurs, meaning that if your opponents do attack you, there is a 70% chance they will not hit you and hit themselves, or if they do hit you, she gives your Venusaurs good speed and defense to just tank hits. She is basically the best shield you can ask for, and it's not really even close. But moving on from Duna is Rapton, and Rapton is almost the exact opposite of Duna. Rapton is a Dynorian that is purely focused on causing damage, with several different ways of doing it. He has decent attack at 67, he has high damaging skills that go with that decent attack, and he has 2 poison skills, meaning that while he is doing regular damage, he is also stacking poison damage on top of it. And those 2 different poison skills include a 100% gold poison skill, which does 30% of a Venusaur's maximum life point, meaning that this guy, or this Dynorian, can take out Venusaurs in like 2 to 3 hits maximum every time. It's insane, actually. He also has amazing support effects in case you didn't feel like attacking with him for some reason, boosting the attack and accuracy of your attack zone Venusaurs by 77%, the exact opposite of Duna. But last but certainly not least is King Dino himself. And Dino is the pure middle ground of his 2 subordinates, Duna and Rapton. And I say this because he has attacking attributes like Rapton, having high attack at 94, along with his high damaging skills. He has a 100% gold poison skill, and he has Rex Roar to boost up other Venusaurs or himself to do even more damage. And the Duna part is his more defensive side, where he has a 100% gold excite skill, making it so that your opponents can't really choose where they are on the battlefield, making it easier for your Venusaurs to take hits or to deal damage. And he has amazing support effects, lowering every single stat of your opponent's attack zone Venusaur by 77%. Basically taking both of the support effects from his subordinates and flipping them to make it so your opponents are just nuked, which is amazing. But with all the Dynorians now gone over, we only have 1 fossil rock left for the bonus data. And this one reads, the Bone Message Card. It reads, Ryan came for a visit. Look for him at Treasure Lake. So let's go ahead and head over to Treasure Lake to see if we can find this Ryan guy. And now that we are at Treasure Lake, just think about Treasure Lake and try to figure out where you think a mysterious person would show up. Because we've been here a lot, actually, and there's the pay to dig site, there's all the water areas around, but there is one area that we've never actually been required to go to, and it's very nice that they actually do something with it. So into the skull we go. So inside Bonehead Hollow, we can find this very pink-clad guy. I've been waiting for you, Phoenix. Your recent antics have drawn more attention than my fantastic suit. My name is Ryan. I knew you would come to this skull eventually, and so I decided to wait for you here. You see, I need a favor. I want to gaze upon a Menchie, but have been unable to find one. And this is where you come in. I need you to put a Menchie in your team and show it to me. Will you do this? Yes, I will. Excellent. I knew I could count on you. I knew I could count on one of your caliber. I am a man of my word. I promise to make this worth your while. But now, I fear my outfit is drawing unwanted attention. Perhaps I should stay quiet for now. So, you may be wondering why he wants to see a Menchie at all, especially because Menchie is one of the first Venusaurs you have access to in the game. It's literally found here at Treasure Lake. And the reason for that is actually because this side quest opens up basically as soon as you get access to the fossil cannon. So you could get the bonus data right before going to the jungle labyrinth, And you can come here and do this side quest if you really wanted to. The only reason I didn't opt to do that is because this is actually a 2-part side quest, and the second part does not open for a long time after that. But here is your Menchie. I can't help but be impressed by Menchie. Its tail is like a wrecking ball made of flesh. You have taught me something today, so I shall honor my promise. Here, take this with my blessing. And for showing him a Menchie, he gives us a mask of his face. With that mask, you are sure to be the most popular person in any room. Farewell, my new friend. Perhaps I shall return someday. And like I just said, this is actually a 2-part quest. So that is the first part, and he said he might return someday. So how do we get him to show back up in the Bonehead Hollow? Because, of course, he will show back up in the Bonehead Hollow. Because we can run out, we can run back in, and he doesn't really show up at any point when you're doing that. And the way to actually make him show back up is by going and putting on his mask. Yeah, it turns out that Ryan is a bit of an egoist and will only show back up if you put on his face. It's kind of funny, actually, if you think about it. But all you have to do is put on his mask and show back up here, and there he is once again. Hold, Phoenix, today I challenge you to battle. I have spent long nights creating a Vivasaur of my own design, and I will test it on none other than yourself. But this place is too small for us. Meet me instead at the Bare Bones Brigade base. I will be waiting for you. Farewell. So now all we need to do is go and meet him at the Bare Bones Brigade base. But I think what I'm going to do is go take off this mask first, because you only needed to go talk to him. And he never actually mentions why you need to put on his mask in the first place. So I'll meet you over at the Bare Bones Brigade base. And luckily at the Bare Bones Brigade base, he is very easy to find. He sticks out a little bit. Also, how dare you get in my shot? But hello, Ryan. I'm glad you came, Phoenix. There is no better way to prove my strength than by defeating the champion. But know this, if I lose, I will give you something very valuable. Do you accept my challenge? Yes, I do. Behold, my newest Vivasaur creation, the Bonysaurus Saladasaur. Alright, getting into this battle with Ryan. You might be wondering at this point, who is this guy? And why is he creating Bonysaurs or have 2 side quests in this game? Where did he come from? Well, Ryan is actually the main character of a manga series called Ryan's Great Adventures. And it's kind of funny, actually. Ryan's father actually instructed him in the manga to dig a tunnel in order to become a quote-unquote true fossil fighter. And after he had finished completing digging the tunnel, he went to join a Grand Prix without realizing he had no Vivasaurs. And so he left and he did some more stuff within the manga. And then later on, he went to go re-register for the Grand Prix. And somehow, Ryan, being the complete airhead that he is, somehow mistakes the Bare Bones Brigade base as the place where the Grand Prix was being taken place, and accidentally joined the BB Brigade. Hence why he has Bonysaurs, and also why he is a Bonysaur creator and goes on to create Salada, which had absolutely no fanfare in this fight. We destroyed it in one hit. It was kind of brutal, actually. But yeah, that's basically most of his background, is that he was such an airhead that after he dug a tunnel, he forgot he didn't have Vivasaurs and then accidentally joined an evil organization. If that doesn't sum up what this guy is, I don't know what else could. It's just so funny that he's just like, yeah, I just wanted to battle Vivasaurs, but I didn't have any. So I went to try to join another Grand Prix, and became evil, I guess. But this is not a hard fight either. He only has 3 Vivisors. All 3 of them are air types, so if you have a good ground, or all 3 are air types, they have a good earth type, they get destroyed. But also, Obsidian just obliterated all of them without much work at all. And for beating Ryan, we get 60 points. You truly are the champion. And for beating him, we get the Vtuber icon, the Rhine icon, and the Saladasaur icon, as well as Saladasaur itself. We will battle again, you and I. This is a promise. So, now that we have it, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, say hello to the ultimate Bonisaur, Saladasaur, or Salada. It is a Vivisor that has what is possibly the highest potential for the maximum attack stat that you can get in the game. And no, I am not kidding. It has a 91 base attack stat, which is actually 96 because it has a gold fossil rock equipped to it, so it gets the +5 to its attack stat. It also has the charge skill, which multiplies that attack stat by 2.5. making it 240 attack stat with just charging. It also has Parting Blow, meaning when it is under 10% of its life points, it gets 3 times the attack stat. So if you charge and are in Parting Blow, it has a 720 attack stat. And then it also has a 40% crit chance, meaning that if you have all of that and you crit, which is not unlikely since it is 4 out of every 10 times that it is likely to crit, it becomes a monstrous 1080 attack stat. And that's just with Salada by itself. That's not factoring in any buffs that it can get from other Vivisors or any support effects that it can get. And I just thought that if we really wanted to go crazy, let's give it 2 Vivisors buffing it, since it is a close-range Vivisor, and have them both have +99 to the attack stat, just for fun. And if you do that, that 1080 attack becomes an absolutely insane 3218 attack stat. That's higher than every legendary in this game, every basic Vivisor, every super evolver. That's higher than literally most super evolvers combined. That's insane how high you can make it. It can also use that ridiculous attack stat incredibly well. It has a skill, it's actually its second skill, that allows it to randomly attack all of your opponents at the same time, which is just insane to think about. It's basically like you are given a tank, but that tank can hit every one of your opponents at the same time. It's just an amazing Vivisor, and it sucks that it's only able to get 1 through the bonus data and 2 at the very end of the game, because this thing would be incredible to use for an actual playthrough. But now that we are done talking about Salada, we also got some icons that we can check out. So hello, Ike. And actually, the first ones are Vtuber and Rhine. And Vtuber here is actually the main character of a different manga series that is also part of the Fossil Fighters universe. So it makes sense that Rhine would also give you the Vtuber icon, since Vtuber is not actually in this game, just Rhine. But we also, if we can find it, have the Saladasaur icon, which this thing is awesome. This is probably one of my favorite icons because it takes the base of what is basically 3D Dimetro and just makes it cooler because it's just the skeleton with like that weird mohawk thing that Salada has going on. It's just a really cool icon. But with all of those gone over, that is everything to do with the bonus data. So I think we're going to end this episode here. I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, the King of the Dead is back, so we need to go see what he's up to. But until then, happy adventuring.